Hello, I am Monique from Flourish Yoga, and today's short flow is a beginner flow. And so I'm going to run through some of the basic poses and ways to modify when you're just starting off. I know it can sometimes be a bit overwhelming if you're starting your yoga journey and you feel like you can't get into any of the poses. So I'm going to give different options for you to choose what's best for your body. So you'll need 2 yoga blocks today to help you. If you don't have yoga blocks, you can use books. They're perfectly fine to use as well. And if you do use a strap regularly in your practice, maybe have that handy as well. So we're going to start in a seated position, sitting on our block. So sitting on your block and crossing your legs. So when we sit on the block, just really helps to lengthen our spine. And we're just going to focus on our breath. So if you want to close your eyes, rest your hands on your knees. And we're not changing our breath here. We're just noticing how we are breathing. Is it fast? Is it slow? How do you feel? Just slowly tuning into your body. So in yoga, our breath is so important. If you're in any poses where they're feeling a bit challenging, that's when we want to bring our focus back to our breath. They help us to work deeper into our poses, but also just a reminder that you should never feel any pain. If you do, please back out and modify for your body. So we're going to inhale through our nose and sigh it out. Now we're going to inhale through our nose and exhale through our nose. Feeling your tummy expand on your inhales and shrink on the exhales. Try to match your inhales with the length of your exhales. And just keep this beautiful cycle of breath. Fluttering, open your eyes. We're going to come to child's pose. So child's pose is one of my favorite poses. I just love how calming and grounding it is. So whenever I'm feeling anxious or overwhelmed, I just come to this pose. So we have our big toes together and our buttocks are resting on our heels. If that's not possible, you can pop a block underneath. I love wide-legged child pose, but if this doesn't feel as good for you, you can bring your knees together. So you choose which option is best for you. Then we're reaching our arms out in front of us and resting our forehead on the ground. If you cannot get your forehead to the ground, this is when the other block comes in handy. And you can rest your forehead on the block. So please use the props. They're here to help you to modify for where your body is at. Remember, all of our bodies are different. We all need different things. So look after your body and modify how it needs. Then slowly lifting your head. If you were using a block, just pop it to the side. And we're going to come up onto our hands and knees. So checking that your wrists are under your shoulders and that your knees are under your hips. So our core is on here so that our spine's in a nice long line. And we're going to warm up our wrists. So in yoga, there's a lot of, we tend to put a lot of pressure in our hands and our wrists, and that's not something that our body is used to. And that can be a big area that people struggle with when they're starting yoga. It hurts their wrists. So we don't want to be dumping weight into our wrists. In our downward dog, and whenever we're on our hands, our fingers are spread nice and wide. And we're aiming to put the weight where our fingers join our palms and our fingertips, which can be hard to kind of train our body into. So we're going to warm up our wrists just to get some movement into them and help protect them. So we're just slowly rocking forwards and back, and not too far forwards, just feeling where kind of your limit is here. Just bringing some beautiful movement in. Then we're going to turn our fingers towards our body. And this might be enough for you here. Or again, you can do some small rocks forwards and back. Then we're going to turn our fingertips in facing to each other and rock from side to side, just nice and slowly. Then turning your fingers forwards again. So this exercise is a wrist strengthening one, and it's probably going to feel a bit funny to begin with. What we want to be doing is kind of bending at our knuckles and pushing up. Pushing into the ground and bending and bringing the rest of your hand and arm in a nice straight line. So it's strengthening those wrist muscles. So just do a few here. So like 3 might be enough for you. And then stopping, and then just giving them some circles here. So that's a good exercise to build up to help build strength in those wrists. Planting our wrists again, checking they're under your shoulders and your knees are under your hips. We're going to do some cat-cows. So we inhale, we look up, we open our chest and drop our belly down. Then we exhale, round our spine, lift out of our shoulders, tuck our chin to our chest. Inhale up, opening and dropping that belly. Exhale, rounding and tucking, making sure your navel is drawing to your spine. Inhale, exhale. So warming up our spine here. Inhale, exhale. coming back to a neutral spine, taking your hands just a little bit further out in front of you, checking that your hands are shoulder width apart, spreading our fingers and aiming to put our weight in the finger, in where our fingers join our hand and the fingertips. So we're not dumping it into the wrist. Curling your toes, and we're going to lift our hips for downward facing dog. You do not need straight legs here for downward facing dog. The most important bit is that your spine is in a beautiful long line and that your navel is drawing to your spine. So we really need our core on. Just checking that your shoulders are broadening and then drawing down towards your hips. Your feet are hip width apart. If you can start to bring some movement into your legs, just pedaling your heels up and down. And checking that your biceps are rolling inwards. Your ears are by your arms as well. So just finding what feels best for you in downward facing dog. So maybe you do have a lot of flexibility in your legs and you can get those heels down. If you can't, just have that bend in your legs. We want that spine nice and long. So from here, bring your left foot into the middle, lift that right leg up, drawing it into your tummy, placing it between your hands. If you can't get here, get as far as you can, then use your hand to move your foot further. Lowering that left knee down. This is when our blocks come in handy, placing them on either side of our front foot. You can be on your fingertips or resting them flat on the blocks. We want kind of our heart open, so we don't want to be hunching. Our heart open, so rolling those shoulders back and just looking out in front of you. If you want, you can close your eyes here and just breathing here for this low lunge. If you have sensitive knees, you can place a towel underneath. So we're really opening up into our hip flexors and our hips here. You can stay here or you can inhale your arms up. So checking that that knee is over the ankle, it's not going past your toes. Core is on here, making sure your hips are square. Lowering those hands down. Just move those blocks to the side of the mat. Plant your hands, curl your back toes, stepping back to downward facing dog. Then we're going to lower our knees, our chest and chin. So my elbows are hugging in and lowering to the ground. My hands are underneath my shoulders. I'm rolling back my shoulders, opening my chest for baby cobra. My legs and the tops of my feet are pressing into the ground. Then I'm going to push back to child's pose. And then I'm curling those toes up to downward facing dog. Again, choosing that variation, what works best for your body. We're going to repeat that on the other side. So bring your right foot into the middle, lifting that left foot off, drawing that knee into your chest. Plant between your hands, lowering that back knee down. Remember, if you need to use your hand to get to the front of the mat, that's fine. Bring those blocks in, opening your heart, roll those shoulders back. Choose your option, listen to your body and modify for what it needs. If you want, you can inhale your arms up with me. Always coming back to our breath. Planting those hands down, move the blocks to the side, curl the back toes, step that front foot back to downward facing dog. Then we lower the knees, chest and chin, elbows tucking in, sliding down onto our belly. Inhale, rolling those shoulders back, hands under your shoulders for baby cobra. Then push back to child's pose. Curl the toes and up to downward facing dog. We're going to do that once more on each side. So left foot in and a little bit faster. Inhale that right leg up, tucking it into it. Plant between our hands, lower that back knee down. If you need the blocks, use them. Otherwise, inhale up for that low lunge. You can stay here, or you can take your left hand onto your right knee and then taking that right arm back behind you. And if it feels good, lower it onto the back of your thigh for a little twist. I love twists here. Releasing from that twist, planting those hands, curl those back toes, stepping back to downward facing dog. Then exhale, knees down, chest and chin, lowering all the way down. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, push back to child's pose and up to downward facing dog. Let's do it on the other side. Right foot into the middle. Inhale, lift that left leg. Knee to chest, plant between your hands, lowering the right knee down. Again, choose your option. Breathing here. And if you want, take that right hand onto your left knee, reaching those left fingertips back. You might like to pop it on the back of your right thigh. Just opening that chest again for a beautiful twist. Twists are great poses to help with digestion as they compress on your organs. Releasing, planting those hands either side of that front foot. Curl the back toes. Step that front foot back to downward facing dog. Lower the knees, chest and chin all the way down, elbows tucking in. Inhale, rolling the shoulders back. Then exhale to child's pose, curling those toes and pushing up to downward facing dog. But again, going to walk our feet to the middle of the mat and come into a yogi squat. So feet are hip width apart, toes pointing out, and if you can't get your feet flat on the ground, this is when we use our block just for support. So we're not sitting on it, it's just giving us some extra balance here. You might like to have your fingertips out on the floor in front of you, or if you're feeling pretty comfortable, hands to your heart in prayer pose and using those elbows to push your knees out. We want a really long spine here. My core is on. Imagine like there's a string at the top of your head and someone's pulling it up to the sky. Opening your eyes, removing the block, and then we're just going to lower onto our bottom with our legs out in front. Bringing the right sole to your left inner thigh. You're going to inhale, lengthen nice and long. Exhale, walk those fingertips to wherever you come to. This is also where you can use your strap if you like. So you can have the strap around your foot and just be pulling. Have a little micro bend to protect the back of your leg. You don't want to be forcing it. So just a little bend. And again, coming to your limit, not worrying about what you've seen other people do, just tuning in with your body. So we don't want to be rounding here again. We want that lovely long spine leading with our chest. And then once you've found that kind of level of challenge with no pain, then you can slowly lower your head down. On our inhales, we lengthen our spine and lift a little bit. Then exhale, lowering down, just working more into the pose. Inhale and exhale. Then walking your hands towards your body, coming up. We're going to take our right foot onto the other side of our left leg. So your right foot is planted. Taking that left arm up, comes to your right thigh over the right knee. If this doesn't feel well, you can just hug it. Okay, so you can hug that leg, taking your right arm behind you, using your fingertips to help you twist again. If you don't like twists or you have a spine injury, you can just take that leg over and then just sit here. I mean, you can pop your fingertips behind you if you need help to sit up nice and straight. Then releasing, taking your fingertips on your left side just for a little bit of a counter twist. And releasing that right leg back. Bringing that left foot to your right inner thigh. Making sure you're nice and tall. And then walking those fingertips out to where you feel that kind of level of challenge, but no pain. So again, inhale. Exhale. Use that breath to work into that pose. So also if you're engaging your right thigh, that also helps you to work deeper into that pose. Walking those hands back up towards your body, left foot over your right leg. So staying here, or you can hug that left leg, or reaching the right arm up, elbow comes over and coming for that beautiful twist. Slowly releasing again, bring those fingers over to the right side, just for a little bit of a counter twist. Bringing the soles of your feet together for butterfly pose. So the closer your feet are to your body, the more challenging it is. The further they are away, the easier it is. So you can hold your ankles here or your feet, whatever feels best for you. And we want to be engaging our buttocks. That's what helps to open our hips more. We never want to be pushing our knees down. So engaging those buttocks, spine's nice and long. My core is on. And if you like, you can take a little fold here. And coming up, Coming to our last pose on our back before our resting pose. So our feet are planted on the ground, hip width apart. And you can, if you kind of move your hands side to side, you can touch your feet. So we're coming into bridge pose. This also might be where you want a block for some support. So planting your hands, palms down into the ground, we're going to push through our feet, lifting those hips up, coming onto our shoulders. So you might like to slip the block underneath, just at kind of your tailbone for some support here. Or you might not need it, and you can kind of work your shoulders underneath, clasp your hands together. We're wanting to move our chin away from our chest. I'm engaging my buttocks here. I'm powering down through my heels to lift those hips. Then I'm going to release my hands slowly, slowly, slowly. Roll my spine down. Bring both knees into my chest. Give them a hug. Bring my kind of nose into my knees as well. A little rock side to side. And then releasing for Shavasana, our final resting pose. So our palms are face up to the sky. Just letting your body sink into the ground. This is a lovely time now where we can thank our body for all that it does. We can thank it for its movement today. So relaxing your forehead, softening your jaw. And then just feeling your arms and shoulders sink into the ground. Just doing a body scan here for any part of your body where you might be holding some tension and tightness. And then just picturing it floating away. You can stay here for as long as you want. Or if you need to finish, just giving a nice big stretch, stretching your arms over your head, rolling onto your side, and then slowly pushing up, coming back to that seated position on your block. Closing those eyes, we're going to inhale our arms up above our head, come together in prayer pose. Bring them to your forehead for purity of thought, to your lips for clarity of speech, and to your heart for kindness of heart. Thank you for flowing with me today on the mat. Don't forget to subscribe so that you know when I release more videos. And I'd love to hear if you enjoyed this flow or what you would like to do next time. Thank you.